You said this is elven, right? Indeed, young master. Borgath was cautiously curious. With a significant history and origin among the elves? Truly? Which would mean it could be thousands of years old, Lendl suggested. Wally nodded, appreciating the logic and beginning to sense Lendl's tactic. Borgath wiped his brow with a velvety-looking embroidered cloth. Very well, you've made your point, and quite well, young one. 8,000. And that is a diamond at the center, is it not? Lendl continued, as if Borgath hadn't spoken. Yes, it is. And I've just added 3,000. And how much would a normally colored, clear diamond of such size be worth? Borgath began to look uncomfortable. I'm not about 20,000. Wally lent his own support. Slow down now, young man. I dare say we are moving along much too fast here. So how much would a rare, pale green diamond of that size and cut be worth, I wonder? Well, and to be one of a matching set of 3 pieces, 2 of which we know still exist. That seems relevant, don't you think? Will you just... I don't appreciate your tone, young sir. My apologies, Merchant Borgath, Lendl replied coolly. Forgive me my inexperience at dealing with people of your elevated status. I merely meant to remind you of some of the item's qualities which you yourself identified and which you seem to have forgotten when you made your initial offer. Recovering nicely and putting his well-practiced smile back on his face, Borgath crooned once again, You have caught Borgath Fezbah slipping, young sir, and taken ample advantage of me, I do contest. He wiped his mouth and dabbed his forehead again. But it shall not happen again. You have proven yourself a worthy adversary, and I give you my final offer of 30,000. 60, or we walk, and your master will have to find himself a new lackey, Lendl retorted. Now it is you who are being insulting, boy. Only a fool would walk away from 30,000 gold crowns. Lendl stood, a disappointed look to his face. It was worth a try, Wall. It sounds like his supreme lordship, or whatever, is going to have some serious disappointment to work off. He turned to leave. Wait, Borgath was defeated. Before you go, please allow me to consult with my lord's chief mage on the matter. I would not repeat this one's error and allow such a thing to pass out of my grasp frivolously. Go and fetch him, feeble one, he directed Griff. A moment later the door opened once more. Deliberate footfalls echoed into the room, preceded by a chill that left Lendl shivering. Every hair on his neck and head itched madly. But despite every fragment of his soul warning him to guard his back, he stubbornly forced himself to remain facing Borgath. The mage strode purposefully to the agent's side and glowered darkly down at him. He was tall, strongly built, clean-shaven, but hard-edged. He wore immaculate riding leathers and a thin, fine-wool cloak draped about his shoulders down to his calves. At his side hung a sword that had probably seen more hours outside its sheath than in. His steely gaze looked only at the fat man, and as he spoke, each syllable dropped like a stone in a stagnant pond. What part of do not disturb me do you not comprehend? Lendl detected a faint accent, something odd, yet familiar. Borgath's look was smug, but he could not hide the nervousness beneath. He raised a trembling hand and turned the brooch over to the mage to examine. Borgath brought his hands up to his face, prayer-like, as he waited. The mage's gloved hand opened flat as if he were trying to convince himself of what he held. He turned the amulet over, inspecting its back briefly before his gaze snapped to Wally, and then to Lendl, whom he studied far longer than the young man found comfortable. Where is the owner of this brooch? Lendl replied, It's mine. If it were possible, the stranger's gaze became even colder. When choosing to converse with your betters, youngling, you would do well to understand a question before professing to know the answer. This is quite obviously not yours. You have it. You are selling it. But you are not the owner. Now answer the question I asked. Where is the owner of this brooch? Does anyone ever really own anything? Despite his entrails writhing like a pot full of mud snakes, Lendl was utterly determined to show no injury. He smiled cockily. Do you want to buy the brooch or not? Or should we speak with your master? Wally cringed inwardly. That's going to cost you, boy. The man studied Lendl for a long moment. Then slowly, as if he believed Lendl may have been dropped as an infant, he asked again, Where is she?